Go.
Streaming from South Africa to the world. This is the Stonks Go Moon podcast. What just happened? We break it down so you don't have to.
Welcome everyone to the Stonks Go Moon podcast. My guest today, John Stefanidis, the co-founder of Balthazar DAO. Welcome to the pod.
Hello, my friend. Great to chat to you and great to meet you.
Nailed it. Listen, for those that might not be that Web3 in tune with the lingo, what is a DAO exactly?
A DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, which is a modern progressive organizational structure, which very easily allows its participants and shareholders to have a say in the operations and the directions. Depends on the sort of freedom that your shareholders have and the level of decentralization. But ultimately, it is a platform that allows people to use their on-chain assets, typically tokens or NFTs, to vote, for certain things to happen within an organization. So it's like a mini democracy.
So like a modern day company, right? A company for the new age.
Exactly, and it's quite an easy way for people to participate and vote, right? And it depends on the governance structure of the DAO, but unlike typically with a listed company, you might need to hold a certain number of shares to vote on something, right, or to have your say. With a DAO, even a token holder that has one token has the ability to influence the direction or a decision. And depending on the voting style, whether it's a quorum-based voting system or a quadric-based voting system, there's many others, but in a quadric voting system, for example, it might be different. So you might have one vote equals one token equals one vote. So it's a lot more balanced rather than maybe with a quorum-based voting system. The more tokens you have, the more influence you have. In other governance structures, it might just be one vote per person, regardless of how much weight you have. So it really allows blockchain and governance to come together and just allow flexibility and creativity.
That is so interesting. I see you guys raised 5 million USD backed by Animoca, KuCoin. Those are big players. This is serious business, right? So for you guys, what are some of Balthazar's values being backed by, these giants in the tech industry?
Yeah, we've raised 2 rounds. We raised one round, which was a $3.6 million round, and then we raised another 2.4 or something all up, and that was it was a couple of years ago. Over the 2021 bull run was the initial raise, and we started the DAO as a guild, actually. And essentially what the guild allowed us to do was build a massive community of gamers who were passionate about gaming and enjoyed gaming, and also wanted to build their wealth through gaming ecosystem, right? And basically the way that the guild worked was we would purchase assets and we would lend those assets out to people, gamers, namely, and those gamers would then play with them, earn a yield, while playing in a game, and we would then split the yield with them, right? So it was a sort of way of allowing people to play these games through these like token economies, and actually earn a living. And it was crazy what we were seeing in the Philippines was a slow shift towards like a new economy, a digital economy where people no longer had to work these laborious jobs, and they could make more money from the comfort of their own home on a smartphone.
Why is those emerging markets, why is it more popular in emerging markets than sort of the West?
I think it just comes down to the labor costs, right? So in an emerging market, someone might earn $20 a day, right? Working factory or in a hospitality job. Whereas in a country like the US or Singapore, Australia, they might be earning 7 or 8 times that for the same job, maybe more. So it was easier to match their current wages and be competitive and create, and then obviously that creates demand. And there's a lot of people from those countries typically, and it's just a lot more value for them for their time.
Yeah, makes sense. You guys introduced Babylon SDK, and you guys are promising or trying to bring more Web2 games into the Web3 world. Talk to me a bit about that. What is Babylon SDK?
The Babylon SDK was a frictionless onboarding system that we created to facilitate the onboarding of Web2 users, right? Into the Web space.
Okay.
So we did that. It was a time, right? So we talk about the guild, right? We ran the guild, grew the guild. And as that guild grew, unfortunately, the foundations on which it was built was based on the, Axie Infinity, which was a guild that allowed people to earn this, and we were working within that eco. So then that, essentially collapsed, and we were unable to continue that business model. So then we thought, what other problems can we solve in this space? And that's why we sort of came up with onboarding. But through the development of the Babylon SDK, and we built this wallet, and it was a beautiful onboarding ecosystem, and there was a lot of amazing technology around it. Unfortunately, there weren't games that had enough users to facilitate a profitable business model, which is where we then rotated to creating our own games, and that's essentially where we are now.
I love it. So I scrolled your website beforehand last week, and I saw Wallet Wars. That's the big one, right? So what is Wallet Wars?
Yeah, so Wallet Wars was our first game.
Okay.
And it was essentially a heavily financialized crypto game, right? And it involved different aspects that included, different games of skill and different token-based reward games. And we built the whole thing end to end. We gave away like 55 ETH worth of prizes in a season. We had about 110,000 people on the wait list. We sold a bunch of NFTs for Wallet Wars, minted it out in like a few minutes. So we built a huge amount of demand, a huge amount of social traction, and the game blew up. We learned a lot as game developers, and it essentially it carved the path for what we're doing now. But Wallet Wars is the first big game that we released successfully.
What did you learn that brought you to this point?
The most important thing we learned was to close the different game loops that you include off when including them in a game. So we tried to include a lot of different Web3 features, and we wanted to make the game heavily Web3 native. I mean, there were a lot of learnings, right? It included building on ZK Sync, which allowed people to farm airdrops while playing. And we tried to add many layers of value, but in doing so, I think we could have done a better job of reducing the layers of value and offering one core game loop that was essentially, a simpler thing that, and also like building on ZK Sync was interesting, right? Because we squeezed our top of funnel down a lot. So people had to bridge from the ETH over there. And there were a few things that we could have done better, but the game loops and keeping your top of funnel, really open.
So that's essentially making it as easy as possible for the user experience.
Yeah, exactly right. Just a super easy onboarding experience with a simple game loop that made it, very easy for people to play, and then with the reward systems, right?
So what's the big game right now for you guys?
So the next game that we're releasing is technically still in stealth, but we dropped our trailer the other day. And we got, I think, 320,000 impressions or views on that trailer. So that was on Thursday, I think. Wednesday we launched it last week. And essentially we've partnered up with a AAA game studio, local guys, and we've built an Unreal Engine 5 AI auto battler, which is the first of its kind. And we've incorporated a really unique deterministic system with zeitgeisty content to create this really cool, simple game experience where people can bet, initially using off-chain points on which fighter they think is going to win, and the outcome is determined by the movement of each of the token prices from that fighter. So, for example, you might have like Pepe versus Doge, and if Pepe moves more in a fixed window period, Pepe wins the fight, right? So you're banking on which token's going to increase more, but you're simulated. All done in Unreal Engine 5.
Sounds really interesting. You mentioned AAA gaming studios. Those are traditional gaming developers. Like some of the big challenges that you guys have seen trying to get these guys on board into Web3 space?
The first game that we're building is okay. So in terms of big challenges, usually it's just wallet connect, right? And
Yeah.
trying to understand the reward mechanisms and how the emissions work and all that. Well, with our system, we just integrated a very simple email based login, so people can
Okay.
just simply jump on with their email and start playing.
Hmm.
The content of the game is heavily focused on the current meme culture, and we do that through different influencers. And we do it through meme coins. So we've got like Pepe and Doge, we've got Trump and Bowden. We've even got like Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. But all the models do, yeah. So you can even have like Mike Tyson versus like Bowden, for example.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's we can get creative with the diff. It's a content engine, right? It's a content engine
Yes.
with amazing, fight animations and a really cool underlying deterministic system that's like provably fair and exciting for people. It's a PvP system where one side pays out the other side, and yeah.
Is that something that you're seeing as a trend going forward, this whole community-based culture or expansion of the community-based culture, to include some of these, how can I put this, this pop culture elements?
Yeah, look, I think when you're building a business, you need
Yeah.
to, especially in the space, you just need to be conscious of the attention economy. And
Mm.
with a game, right? Like look at
Yeah.
Fortnite, they do it, right?
Yeah.
Fortnite release different packs all the time. So with this auto battler, we think we can match the same content strategy and structure as Fortnite, right? And I think,
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
as long as we're able to continuously create these like high quality models
Yes.
and tie them to the right prices, so the deterministic system is fair. So we can do like Zuckerberg versus Musk, and we can tie the prices to like Facebook versus Tesla, and that can just roll on an ongoing basis. That's the first version of this new category of gaming we're building.
I like it because Gary Vee even dropped the new book, Day Trading Attention. I haven't read it, need to read it. And that's definitely where it is because everyone is like sort of trying to get your attention. And in this economy, in this industry, you've got like a couple of seconds to hook someone. If it's not interesting, if it's not fun, you can forget about it.
Totally, man. It's what people care about. And in Web3, you have to recognize that people really just care about making money. Like that's what they're most interested in, right? Like what
Yeah, it's
opportunities
true.
we have for free money, right?
Yeah.
So we can start by using that as an acquisition strategy for our customers and give them free money through prizes and just no entry fees for competition and just let them go. And then eventually we can roll them into wagering. So
Okay. Let's talk a bit about that money aspect because whenever you talk about money and crypto, there's always skepticism. There's a negative perception around the industry. But I mean, you've stuck around through a bear market. You've been through FTX. You've been through Celsius, all those things. So I mean, and you're still around. So therefore, I see you as one of the OG guys then, because anyone who's still around must be doing something right. Talk to me. How do you internally and externally sort of treat those perceptions or that you are part of essentially in this industry?
So there's nothing wrong with financialization. There's nothing wrong with a pure desire to make money. There's nothing wrong with something being purely speculative, as long as you lean into that, right? So if you're creating a gaming system and, like for example, when we launched Wallet Wars, we were very open about the fact that, guys, this game is 100% about making money. That's it. You buy the assets, you play them in the game. We're not, we were saying like, we're not trying to make the number of the NFTs and go up, but buy the NFT so you can play the game and make money. And we were leaning in, and people like that because they're like, oh, these guys are fucking bullshitting me. Let's check it out. So I think it's just about leaning into it. Otherwise, if you've got a really good business model, like I'll give you a great example, right?
Okay.
Karate Combat is a fantastic example of a business that is a legitimate business that makes money, that uses, its token as a speculative tool to provide value to token holders and not just token, but customers, right? So you can still use a crypto engine and have that speculation and have a real business that sits underneath it. There are so many layers and degrees of financialization and the ways you can lean into it, extend far and wide. But obviously, you can't deny that there are also people that will just simply rug, right? And people that will use speculation to create a story. But hey, that's no different from Web 2. It just happens a lot faster, and it's all on chain in Web 3, contrary to like what a lot of people believe. So yeah.
My biggest takeaway here is to be open and transparent about what it is that you're doing. If you're telling people, hey, this is what we're doing, people will buy into it. But I see so many people like trying to sell something as something else. And I think that's where the issue comes.
That's right. I completely agree with you. So
Awesome.
as long as you're honest, if it's a speculative project, let it be a speculative project. If you've got a skerrick of realness to your business and you want to use that to build speculation, that's fine. But let's not lie about what you're actually building or the timelines and all that sort of stuff.
Awesome. John, thank you so much for joining me today. Where can the listeners find you and Balthazar DAO?
At Balthazar DAO, or at BZR John on Twitter. And you can check out our new project at Brawlers with a 3. So yeah, looking forward to connecting with you guys.
And we'll put all the links in the comments. Thank you so much for joining me. And to our listeners, peace, love, and prosperity. And catch you in the next one.
Balthazar's building something new and bold, turning pixels into digital gold. With a vision, the future's bright, bringing Web 2 into the Web3 light. We're breaking chains, we're crossing lines in this new world. We'll redefine from pixel dreams to NFT streams. We're living life in vivid scenes. Balthazar's our guiding star. In this revolution we'll go far. No more limits, no more walls. With blockchain tech we're standing tall. Non-custodial, cross-chain bound. In this new game we're glory bound. Investments rolling in, it's clear the gaming world's about to steer. Animoca on our side, with Balthazar we'll rise and ride. We're breaking chains, we're crossing lines in this new world. We'll redefine from pixel dreams to NFT streams. We're living life in vivid scenes. Balthazar's our guiding star in this revolution.